city of faith and fury.
Sundays at 10, only on CNN.
People with moderate to severe psoriasis are rethinking the choices they make, like the splash they create, the entrance they make, the surprises they initiate. Otezla, it's a choice you can make. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
Does anyone on board know how to fly an airplane?
I got this. I have Sling TV, so I watch tons of shows and movies. You know that scene where the president has to fight a plane? I watch it a lot. Now, is the cockpit in the front or the back?
Sling will let you build your perfect channel line, so you get the live TV you love for just $35 a month.
I know we start with this one.
Real excitement and anticipation here. A cup final about to be decided. Who will hold the trophy aloft? We'll have every kick of the ball for you live on EA
It's
TV.
more than just another week every night. It's a chance to slow down and catch your breath. Show you how easy it is by focusing on your five
No doubt
senses.
about it, the nerves
What
have
do you
been
see?
jangling in the last few days,
Do you
but
hear
very soon
anything?
the wait will be over.
What do
I'm
you
Derek
smell?
Ray, joined by Lee
How's
Dixon
it
in the
taste?
commentary box, and we're just
Here's
seconds
to
away
better
from
than
kickoff in what
one
promises to be a
better
thrilling
Go to
finale.
HelloFresh.com and use code VOD14 for up to 14 free meals.
Only 9% of plastic is recycled, no matter how much we put in our recycling bins. And up to 24 billion pounds of it enters the ocean every year. Glowco plastic-free household cleaners are designed to keep your home clean and solve the single-use plastic problem. Sustainably powerful for a healthy home and planet. Choose your free starter set today.
Why do nearly 1 million businesses choose Stamps.com for mail and ship? No more trips to the post office. No more paying full price for postage. And great rates from USPS and UPS. Mail letters, ship packages, anytime, anywhere, for less. A lot less. Get our special TV offer, a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale. Go to Stamps.com/offer and never go to the post office again.
Got you taken care of, Sergeant Houston. Thank you. That was fast.
One call to USAA got a tow, the claim van, and even a grandpa's dog tax.
Gagliardini, straight down the throat of the opposition.
Hi, my name is Leanne.
Why you give it back to me like that?
Stomach pains and problems for quite a while.
Trying to make runs, you trying to score.
Everything was easy to understand. I was just really excited to see what the outcome would be, and come to find out that
You're open.
we're on my price sensitivity list. And so, just was so eye-opening.
I missed that chip.
Who's going to emerge from the shadows and
Something
become a
within that
match
clean
winner?
list
But
could
this man might be a
potentially
decent shout.
causing me
Lee, what are you
inflammation
expecting
in
from
my
him?
body. Thank you.
Well, yeah, when defenders look who they're playing against, they always look at the goals. 2 goals in his last previous game. He's certainly a threat to them today.
Couldn't hang on to it. It's a weighted pass and a marvellous save.
Well, his reflexes there, absolutely spot on. That's why they work so hard in training goalkeepers to pull saves off like that.
And he's fired over the corner. Taking care of business defensively here. Spanek. Well, he made that interception look routine. In truth, it wasn't. And across the touchline.
Where's my foul, ref?
Why does a fish out of water story always make for such good TV? The next episode of the CNN series, original series, History of the Sitcom, takes a look.
Dangerous looking attack. An perfectly timed pass. Can he make it count? And a goal is the opener in this game.
It could be a typical suburban family, except with
They have one adorable little girl.
Despite the fact she's a product of a mixed marriage.
I wanted to be able to be invisible like her. Hop from one side of the room to the other.
Be sure to tune in. An all-new episode of History of the Sitcom airs tomorrow night at 9, right here on CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
You are live in the CNN newsroom. I'm Jim Acosta in Washington. We begin with breaking news. President Biden is announcing that he has authorized 5,000 troops to help ensure a safe and orderly drawdown in Afghanistan. This comes as the Taliban continues its brutal and unrelenting advance to take control of the country. Within the last few hours, Taliban forces they've captured 3 more major cities. That means they now control 22 of the country's 34 capitals. Only 2 major cities remain under the government.
Dang, Afghan people, come on, bruh. A little effort, guys. A little effort.
If Kabul will fall, but when? There's also an urgency this hour at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul as 3,000 new troops arrive to get Americans to safety and destroy sensitive materials. CNN's Arlette Saenz is at the White House for us. The president is at Camp David. And we have this statement from the president in just the last hour or so. Arlette, what more are you learning?
Well, Jim, this is really the most robust statement we've gotten from President Biden since the security situation in Afghanistan has deteriorated. And the president explains how he has authorized the deployment of 5,000 American troops to Afghanistan to help draw down and evacuate American civilians and also help with those Afghans who had helped the U.S. over the course of this 20-year war. Now, just to clarify, the majority of those 5,000 troops are either already on their way or in Afghanistan, but there is an additional 1,000 troops who are now being sent that way. Now, in this statement, the president also
come on, guys,
saying that they have warned them that there will be consequences if Americans are put in danger. The president says that they've warned the Taliban through representatives, saying that any action on their part on the ground in Afghanistan that puts U.S. personnel or our mission at risk there will be met with a swift and strong U.S. military response. And we also have the president in this statement offering a defense of his decision to withdraw American troops from Afghanistan in the coming weeks. The president specifically places blame on his predecessor, the former President Trump, saying that he negotiated a deal with the Taliban that ultimately empowered the Taliban and promised that withdrawal. The president, in his statement, I want to read you what he said. He said, "When I became president, I faced a choice: follow through on the deal with a brief extension to get our forces and our allies' forces out safely, or ramp up our presence and send more American troops to fight once again in another country's civil conflict." President Biden says, "I was the fourth president to preside over an American troop presence in Afghanistan, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats. I would not and will not pass this war on to a fifth." So the president making very clear that he remains resolute in that decision to withdraw American troops from Afghanistan. And right now, so much of the priority is ensuring an orderly and safe drawdown of Americans who are currently in the country.
And Arlette, what are we learning about how early they began planning for the removal of Americans there?
Well, the planning for this has been underway for months. Our colleague over at the Pentagon, Barbara Starr, reports that the Pentagon had been planning for possible evacuation in May. That was part of the overall plan to plan for the withdrawal from Afghanistan. She said, Barbara says that as recently as just 2 weeks ago, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was asking for updated tabletop exercises to prepare for the possible evacuation. And just to put a point on how seriously and how swiftly this administration wants to act, a U.S. defense official tells Barbara, time is of the essence. We don't have the luxury of time to wait.
They certainly don't have that luxury. All right, Science, thank you so much for that report. And I want to bring in retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Cedric Layton. He's a CNN military analyst and former official at the National Security Agency. Colonel, thanks so much for being with us as things are just rapidly deteriorating in Afghanistan. Every few hours today, we've learned about a new city captured by the Taliban. Are you surprised at the speed in which these major cities are falling? It's just incredible to watch.
It really is, Jim, but I'm not surprised. And the reason, Jim, I'm not surprised is because we have known for a very long time that the Afghan military has had a lot of serious problems, including not only morale, but also the ability to maintain the force. In other words, they don't have the ability to keep their people. There are a lot of desertions that have preceded even these drastic events right now. And it was very clear to me from the very beginning that once we started the withdrawal process, the Taliban would advance very rapidly, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
And I want to read more from President Biden's statement that just came out during this program, put up on screen. It says, over our country's 20 years of war in Afghanistan, America has sent its finest young men and women, invested nearly $1 trillion, trained over 300,000 Afghan soldiers and police, equipped them with state-of-the-art military equipment, and maintained their air force as part of the longest war in U.S. history.
Right.
One more year or 5 more years of U.S. military presence would not have made a difference if the Afghan military cannot or will not hold its own country. Colonel, I suppose he has a point there, and the President is indicating, I think very clearly, he is not changing his mind on this. What do you think? Do you agree with the thoughts that he put forward there?
Yeah, I do actually, Jim, and the reason I do is because what the President is saying, why throw good money, in this case good training, after bad? And what you're looking at is, in essence, a drastic way to cut our losses. Now, the actual execution of this is another matter. And, in our Let's report, we learned about the planning that had gone on from about May until the present time to do this. What bothers me about this are two things. First of all, that they didn't seem to account for the rapid advance of the Taliban, and secondly, that a lot of the Afghan interpreters and others from Afghanistan who have served the U.S. military over the last 20 years, that their fates are being ignored by this, and it seems as if that it was an afterthought. Now they're trying to catch up and trying to get these people out, but that is a very big issue that they're going to have to pay very close attention to.
Yeah, we absolutely cannot leave them high and dry. They help the United States through all of this. The United States has to help them. And we've seen video of the Taliban at abandoned U.S. military bases driving American trucks as they take over cities. And it makes you wonder, what were the last 20 years for? We built up this country, as the President was saying, we built up this military. Are we just going to watch it?
Yes.
In real time? Is that what we're going to do?
Yes.
Well, and that's really the sad thing about this, Jim. I mean, all the blood and treasure that we've sacrificed, all the lives that we've sacrificed, that is a real problem when you look at everything that we put into this country, and now we are basically losing all of that. Now, on the positive side, we have to remember that for the last 20 years, no terrorist attacks that affected the West, the United States, its European allies, any of the other countries that were closely aligned with, emanated from Afghan soil. So in that case, it was a success. But it was one heck of a price to pay for that, and unfortunately our efforts to, in essence, remold the society of Afghanistan, whether it comes to women's issues or the military, those efforts have, I'm afraid, failed, unfortunately.
As we look at the table of
newly crowned this evening. All right, Colonel Cedric Layton, thank you so much for that information. We appreciate it. Good talking to you, sir. Now, breaking news in Haiti. At least 227 people have died after a 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck near Haiti. We're expecting the death toll to climb much higher, according to estimates by the U.S. Geological Survey. Officials
wow, bruh.
Are racing to assess the damage right now, but these brand new images look devastating. Entire buildings turned to rubble, cars crushed. This video showing
no building codes in Haiti. There's no building codes in Haiti.
Remember, Haiti is still dealing with another major crisis. The president was assassinated just last month, and on top of everything else, Tropical Storm Grace. Yes, there's a tropical storm in the region, is expected to hit the area as soon as Monday. CNN correspondent Patrick Ottman joins me now from Havana, Cuba. Patrick, what's the situation on the ground in Haiti? As best as you can guess, I suppose it's going to take some time to get more eyeballs on the ground there because of the sheer devastation.
Probably days, if not weeks, before we really get an accurate picture of how bad this was. But already, some of the images we've been seeing throughout the days, the accounts of people being pulled out of the rubble, or pictures of people receiving medical attention, essentially on cots out in the open air because it's too dangerous to be inside with all these aftershocks. You know, it really is heartbreaking to see this country, once again, the country of Haiti, enduring so much suffering, not even a month since, a little over a month since the president was assassinated. Now the large Haitian quake struck. Luckily,
it's the country.
It did not hit
the major city.
2010 earthquake devastated so much and caused such a high death toll. This latest earthquake happened in less populated areas. So that's perhaps the only
country
silver lining here, Jim. But as you said, tropical is heading towards Haiti, and it's several days that can lead to mudslides, lead to more structures collapsing. So by no means is this over as of yet, and certainly in the hours ahead, we expect that death toll to continue to rise.
Really happen from a throw-in.
Just a desperate situation in Haiti right now. Patrick Ottman, thanks so much for that report. We appreciate it. We are headed to our darkest hours. That is the sobering warning from a doctor in Mississippi. Next, we'll take you to a hospital there that has been forced to set up a triage in its parking garage. That's right, in a parking garage. We're live in the CNN newsroom.
At USAA, we've been called to exclusive. We only serve those who honorably serve. All ranks, all branches, and their families. Yep, that is exclusive. We're fine with that.
Obviously, one winter in Scottsdale, and suddenly they're all chili lime this, and Southwest chicken avocado wraps that, and we're into bold flavors now. So, Arby's, we have the meat.
People with moderate to severe psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis are rethinking the choices they make, like the splash they create, the way they exaggerate, the surprises they initiate. Otezla, it's a choice you can make. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats differently. For psoriasis, 75% clear skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. For psoriatic arthritis, Otezla is proven to reduce joint swelling, tenderness, and pain, and the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
With the timeless protection of ADT, it's safe to say, hey Google, unlock the front door. Or it's safe to say,
certainly got to give this man high marks for his work up to this point, Lee.
With ADT, it's safe to say, when you help save more lives than any other home security brand, it's safe to say, there's a reason millions of people trust ADT to help protect what matters most.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Lewis Cook, useful looking position, you've got to say. Wonderful chance, clattered away.
Well, the host dominating possession. It really has been impressive. They've created a lot from midfield. Their forwards are having a field day.
It might be. And a goal to increase their advantage to 2 overall. That little bit of a cushion. Now it's all about keeping the concentration.
Obviously, it's a tap-in, Derek, but it's the patience in the box I like. A predator's instinct, just waiting for the ball to come to him.
They decided that now is the time to go to the bench.
This summer's dangerous rise in COVID cases has not let up for weeks in the U.S., and now, just like the experts warned, hospitalizations are surging. Today, more than 83,000 Americans are being treated in a hospital for COVID. Just like last year, parking garages are being converted into COVID field units, and tents are being outfitted to treat overflow patients. Situation
come on.
Most desperate in 5 states: Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Florida, and Mississippi. They all have less than 10% of their ICU beds left. One doctor in Mississippi warns, quote, "We are headed to our darkest hours." CNN's Adrian Broadus is outside of the University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson. Adrian, Mississippi hospitals are at emergency capacity. What are you seeing on the ground right now? How bad is this?
Well, if you step inside that parking garage behind me and go to the lower level, and the space is typically reserved for cars, Jim, there are now hospitals.
Yeah, I need to do better than this. What the fuck, bro?
Transformed into a COVID unit. That's where COVID patients who need minimal care will receive treatment. And next week, the hospital is going to convert another section of the garage to treat patients daily, 60 to 100 patients who need outpatient care. On Friday, we got some new numbers from the State Department of Health. More than 5,000 new COVID cases and 31 deaths. Despite all of this, the state's governor, Tate Reeves, still refuses to initiate a mask mandate. Listen in.
We're not going to have top-down, statewide intervention at this time. If you believe, if you have not been vaccinated, I encourage you, if you're going to go out in public, I would encourage you to wear a mask.
And among those numbers we received yesterday, 31 people died due to COVID complications.
Stupid ass fuckers.
Officials. Among the deceased this month, Hinds County Sheriff Lee Vance. Friends and family said goodbye to him about 2 miles away from where we are right now a short time ago. He was 63 and spent nearly 3 decades serving and protecting this community, but he could not fight off COVID-19. That's according to his friends, family, and the coroner. Meanwhile, the state health officer, Dr. Thomas Dobbs, said among people here in Mississippi who are diagnosed with COVID, at least 2.2% will not make it home alive. He also talked about people who walk into hospitals like this one behind me. Those who are placed on ventilators will also not make it home. So the hope is that people will hear this plea, people will hear this message and take precautions and start